pivots, obsessed with, changing what they're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of people thinking about starting is in entertainment. And it's just so unbelievably mesmerizing to me.
Into a bit of an infrastructure. So I ended up at a fashion group and they provide.
But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Meghan Markle just wrapped up this massive tour, right? Paris, New York, Washington, D.C., bouncing from city to city, being photographed everywhere, doing the whole glamorous jet setter thing. And finally, she makes it back home to California. So what's the first thing she does? Rush to spend time with Archie and Lilibet, the kids she always calls the greatest joys of her life? Nope, not even close. She shows up at Emma Grede's exclusive private dinner party.
Of making the batter, what's the flavor profile? And there's an entire team that can help put that cake in the oven. But I want to.
And what went down that night was absolutely wild. Because sitting at that table, surrounded by some of the most connected power players in Los Angeles, Meghan got completely outshined by the very woman who's supposed to be her friend. And the cameras caught every single uncomfortable second of it. You can see it all play out, the body language, the awkward moments, the social hierarchy that nobody talks about but everyone understands. This wasn't just dinner. This was a masterclass in who really runs Hollywood, and Meghan wasn't the one teaching it.
Hold on tight, because inside the studio, Meghan composed herself quickly, with the instinct of someone well-versed.
And what happens during that toast? Let's just say it revealed everything about who actually has power in that room. Plus, the woman sitting right next to Meghan, she's connected to Meghan's entire Netflix deal. Before we get into all of it, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because this gets seriously uncomfortable. Drop a like if you're ready to see how this unfolded. Let's go. Let's talk about the timeline here because the more you look at it, the weirder Meghan's schedule gets.
Number 10, always be learning. Apply what you learn. This is the gap between good and great.
She flew to Paris, allegedly without the kids. That's already raising eyebrows, but okay, maybe it was a quick work trip. Except it wasn't quick at all. She spent multiple days there, got her makeup done by celebrity artist Daniel Martin, attended events, posed for photos, did the whole glamorous European tour thing. Then she supposedly rushed back to California to see Archie and Lilibet. But hold on, because that reunion must have lasted about 5 minutes. Tops. Next thing you know, she's jetting off to New York City.
Oh, guys, grab your tea because Meghan Markle is boiling. Not simmering, not warm, we're talking full rolling boil.
More appearances, more networking, more being seen in all the right places. Then from New York, she headed straight to Washington, D.C. for even more public engagements. This woman was everywhere except at home with her children. After all that travel, after all those cities and appearances, Meghan finally returns to Montecito. You'd think the first thing she'd do is spend quality time with her family, right? Maybe a quiet evening at home, reading bedtime stories, reconnecting with the little ones she's been away from for so long.
Meghan Markle exaggerating? Say it ain't so. Friends of the Sussexes say Meghan's decision to stage her latest relaunch in...
But no. On her very first night back, she's at Emma Grede's house for this dinner party. Not the next week, not after a few days of settling in, the same night she gets home. Think about the optics for a second. Meghan spent years crafting this whole narrative of being the devoted mother, the woman who walked away from royal life to protect her children and give them a normal upbringing. She talks about motherhood like it's her entire identity, her purpose, her greatest achievement. And yet, when she's been traveling solo for days and finally makes it back home,
it was supposed to be another glittering night on the Graham Norton show. A little charm, a little laughter, and
she doesn't prioritize them. She prioritizes being seen at the right dinner with the right people. Here's what nobody wants to say out loud. Meghan knows her brand is struggling. She knows the Netflix deal is under scrutiny. She knows she needs to stay connected to the power players who can keep her relevant in Hollywood. And Emma Grede? She's one of those players. This dinner wasn't about friendship. It wasn't about casual catching up over wine and appetizers. This was business.
What happens when a Hollywood star turned royal sits across from one of America's most beloved talk show hosts? Only for
This was Meghan showing up because she had to, because turning down an invitation from Emma Grede when you're trying to rebuild your reputation in Los Angeles would be career-ending. Emma has the connections, the credibility, the success that Meghan desperately wants. This was about proximity to power, about staying in the room where decisions get made. But what Meghan didn't anticipate was that simply being in the room wouldn't be enough. Emma isn't some Hollywood hanger-on or influencer who got lucky.
But like, well, you're having fun, and you are definitely not taking these failures as your own.
I'm crying in the corner, and you're...
She's a legitimate businesswoman who built her empire from the ground up. She co-founded Good American with Khloe Kardashian, turning it into a massively successful denim and fashion brand. But more importantly, she's deeply embedded in the Kardashian-Jenner universe, working directly with Kris Jenner on multiple business ventures. And if you know anything about how Hollywood works, you know that Kris Jenner's network is basically untouchable. Emma has access to everyone. She knows everyone. She can open doors that most people don't even know exist.
The UK tabloids keep saying that Duchess Meghan is irrelevant, but yet she's booked and busy at all these events that they wish they were.
Now picture Meghan walking into Emma's home for this dinner. The seating arrangement alone should have tipped her off that this wasn't going to be her night. Meghan was positioned directly next to Emma, which sounds like a place of honor until you realize what it actually meant. Emma could control every interaction Meghan had. She could interrupt her, redirect conversations away from her, physically take over the space around her. And on Meghan's other side sat Nicole Avant, the wife of Ted Sarandos.
I genuinely do not understand this at all whatsoever. Do you understand this?
Who happens to be the co-chief executive officer of Netflix. Let that sink in. The woman whose husband controls Meghan's paycheck was sitting right there watching everything unfold. Nicole Avant isn't just Ted Sarandos' wife. She's a powerhouse in her own right, a producer who moves in the highest circles of Hollywood. Her presence at this dinner wasn't coincidental. She was there because Emma Grede invited her, and Emma invited her because these are the kinds of connections that matter. This was Emma's table, Emma's guest list, Emma's show.
So we were nesting and healing, and also, I don't know if I had the bandwidth at that time.
Meghan was just another attendee, despite what she might have believed walking in. Here's what makes this even more interesting. Meghan thought she'd be the star of the evening. After all, she's got the royal title and the global name recognition. But here's what she didn't account for. In Los Angeles, titles don't mean much if you can't deliver results. Emma Grede delivers results. She builds brands, makes money, creates opportunities. Nicole Avant represents the Netflix empire that's been watching Meghan's content underperform and
Meghan Markle just experienced one of the most humiliating nights of her post-royal life, and it all went down at what was supposed to be a cozy
her projects stall, and Meghan, she's been struggling to prove she's worth the investment. So when she sat down at that table, she wasn't walking into a supportive sisterhood moment. She was walking into a room where she had to prove herself. The other women at the dinner were models, influencers, a tennis pro, all accomplished in their own lanes. But the real power in that room was concentrated in 3 people. Emma, who hosted and controlled the entire evening. Nicole, who held connections to Meghan's financial future.
Put this in perspective. When an agency represents someone, especially someone they're actively trying to build up, they capitalize on every...
And Meghan, who was supposed to be holding her own, but instead looked completely out of her element. It sounds innocent enough, right? A group of women clinking glasses, celebrating each other, smiling for the cameras. But body language never lies. And what happened during that toast showed exactly who was in charge and who was desperately trying to fit in. The footage shows everyone at the table preparing for the toast. Glasses go up, Arms start reaching across the table, and you can immediately see who's trying too hard.
Get ready to shocking news because Meghan Markle sitting across from powerhouse entrepreneur Emma Grede on the Aspire podcast. But
one woman extends her glass desperately, reaching out to clink with everyone around her. Nobody really reciprocates. She's left hanging, awkwardly pulling her arm back. Then there's Meghan, also reaching out, making sure she connects with the right people, putting in visible effort to be part of the moment. Emma Grede joins in too, leaning forward, clinking glasses, playing the gracious host. But then there's Nicole Avant. And this is where it gets absolutely fascinating. Nicole doesn't reach across the table. She doesn't lean forward, desperately trying to make contact with everyone's glass.
Meghan Markle went on Emma Grede's podcast, and I want you to see this clip because it's not necessarily deception.
Instead, she lifts her wine glass high, just enough to acknowledge the toast, gives a subtle nod to the room, and then she just starts sipping. While everyone else is still doing the whole performative clinking routine, Nicole's already drinking her wine, completely unbothered, totally above the scramble. And that single gesture told you everything you needed to know. She didn't need to reach out to anyone. She didn't need to prove she belonged. She was the most important person at that table, and everyone knew it, including her. Think about what that means. Here's Meghan Markle desperately trying to network, trying to make connections.
Breaking news today. In that one moment, Emma Grede forced a reckoning, not just for Meghan, but for everyone
trying to show she's part of this elite circle. And then there's Nicole Avant, the woman whose husband literally signs the checks for Meghan's Netflix deal, calmly sipping her wine while everyone else plays the social game. Nicole didn't have to try because her position was secure. Her power was unquestionable. Meanwhile, Meghan was working overtime just to stay relevant in a room full of women who've actually built something. These kinds of moments are everything in Hollywood. It's not about what you say, it's about how you carry yourself.
Meghan Markle just did the unthinkable. Not another interview, not a podcast rant. This time she went for the jugular.
How comfortable you are in your own power. Nicole's relaxed confidence versus Meghan's visible effort painted a picture that no amount of PR spin could fix. One woman was secure in her influence, the other was clinging to it, and everyone at that table saw it play out in real time. The toast lasted maybe 15 seconds total, but it became a snapshot of the entire evening. Some people were performing, reaching, trying, others were simply existing in their power. Meghan was performing, Nicole was existing, Emma was orchestrating, Meghan was in the middle of a conversation. Actually,
it began in a quiet room. No reporters, no flashing lights, just a few friends gathered together, people who had known each other.
Engaging with someone at the table, probably feeling like she was finally finding her groove. Nicole Avant was laughing at something another guest said, clearly enjoying herself. The vibe seemed fine, maybe even comfortable for a moment, and then Emma Grede decided to take over. And what followed was a masterclass in social presence. Emma started speaking loudly and confidently, completely cutting across whatever Meghan was saying. She didn't wait for a pause. She didn't politely interject. She just started talking.
I think it's safe to say that we all realized, did we not, that at that particular moment, in that particular time frame, we realized...
And the entire table's attention shifted to her immediately. And here's where Meghan's reaction became absolutely priceless. You can see it in the footage. That split second where her face changes. Her mouth was still moving mid-sentence, and then she froze. Not a graceful pause, not a polite deferral. A full stop. Her expression shifted from engaged to startled to something that looked almost like panic.
I do not think about failing. No.
You're not scared of failing. Is anything...
It was the face of someone who just realized they're not in control of the room they thought they were commanding. Meghan's body language in that moment was devastating. She literally gave herself a stop sign. Her hand came up slightly, her posture shifted back, and she went completely silent. It wasn't a natural transition in conversation. It was submission. Pure, unfiltered social submission. She realized in real time that Emma was the one people were listening to. Emma was the one who could command attention without asking for it.
Loved being able to
cook and entertain.
Then why don't you do it out of your own home?
And Meghan was just there, a guest at someone else's table, playing by someone else's rules. Get this. Meghan's usually much more in control of her public appearances. She's scripted, prepared, surrounded by her team, operating in environments where she knows exactly what's going to happen and how she's supposed to respond. But this dinner was different. This was organic, unscripted, real social interaction with women who didn't need anything from her and weren't intimidated by her title.
Meghan Markle just experienced one of the most humiliating nights of her post-royal life, and it all went down at what was supposed to be a cozy women...
Meghan was out of her element, and it showed. She's used to being catered to, having conversations revolve around her, being the focal point. Here, she was just another person at the table, and not even the most interesting one. The way she stopped talking mid-sentence, the way her eyes darted, the way she physically pulled back, it all screamed discomfort. Emma wasn't being intentionally cruel. She was just being herself, loud and charismatic, and used to holding court. But the contrast was stark. Emma's natural confidence versus Meghan's forced performance.
For a heartbeat, silence filled the studio. Meghan's smile, which had been confidently in place since the interview began.
Emma's ease versus Meghan's obvious effort. And the worst part? This wasn't a private moment of insecurity. This was Meghan being publicly outclassed at a dinner that was supposed to boost her image, not destroy it. Emma Grede wasn't just verbally taking over the space. She started physically dominating it too. Picture this. Emma's in full storytelling mode, animated and energetic.
All going quite well, wasn't it? Yeah, well, I mean, going quite well in terms, of course, of friendships.
Using her hands to emphasize whatever point she's making. And then she does something that most people would never dare to do with Meghan Markle. She leans in. Not just a casual lean, but a full invasion of Meghan's personal space, getting so close that her hand nearly touches Meghan's face. Watch the footage closely and you'll see it. Emma's hand comes within inches of Meghan's nose, gesturing wildly as she talks. She's completely unbothered by the proximity, totally comfortable asserting herself in Meghan's space.
The timing of that, we maybe watched it like 20 times yesterday, and I was like, okay.
And how does Meghan react? Does she pull back confidently? Does she hold her ground? Absolutely not. She grabs her ear. Yes, her ear. Like she's suddenly self-conscious, like she's trying to find something to do with her hands. Like she's physically shrinking under Emma's presence. Her eyes start batting in that fake, overly animated way that screams discomfort. That forced smile creeps across her face, the one she uses when she's absolutely dying inside but trying to look unbothered.
Morning television is supposed to be light, bubbly, and safe. Laughter over coffee, easy questions, and celebrity.
This was one of the most submissive displays Meghan's ever been caught on camera making. She looked like she wanted to disappear. Her entire body language read as defeat. Emma was all up in her personal space, nearly bopping her on the nose, and Meghan just took it. She didn't assert herself. She didn't create boundaries. She sat there with that strange smile, grabbing her ear like she was trying to hold herself together, while Emma continued to dominate the conversation and the physical space around her. And here's the thing, Emma wasn't trying to humiliate Meghan.
In a jaw-dropping moment now seen by millions, entrepreneur Emma Grede confronts Meghan Markle live on Aspire.
She was just being Emma, gregarious and loud and comfortable in her own skin, but the contrast was brutal. Emma moves through the world like she owns it because in many ways she does. She built her empire, she earned her seat at the table, and she doesn't need to shrink herself for anyone. Meghan, on the other hand, looked like someone who just got called out. All that carefully constructed confidence, all that Duchess poise, all that practiced media training.
Get ready because this bomb show could change everything Meghan Markle thought she could stage a glamorous comeback. Instead, she walked.
Gone. Replaced by nervous gestures, fake smiles, and body language that screamed discomfort. This is what happens when Meghan operates outside her controlled bubble. When she's not surrounded by her team, not following a script, not in an environment where everyone treats her like royalty, the mask slips. And at Emma's dinner, the mask didn't just slip, it practically fell off. Emma's ease and authenticity made Meghan's performative nature even more obvious. One woman was genuinely comfortable.
Thank you for being here tonight in support of Project Healthy Minds, our partners at Outclassed Foundation.
The other was faking it desperately. And in a room full of Hollywood's sharpest observers, that difference didn't go unnoticed. It was about a fundamental personality clash that highlighted everything Meghan Markle lacks and everything Emma Grede has in abundance. Emma is naturally charismatic. She's funny, she's warm, she knows how to work a room without breaking a sweat. She can keep a conversation flowing, make people laugh, command attention without demanding it. She's the kind of person who walks into a space and people gravitate toward her.
Moving out of Montecito for good.
I've never really seen that. 5 quiet words, but when spoken by Doria Ragland.
Not because of a title or a manufactured image, but because she's genuinely engaging. Meghan, on the other hand, looked like a complete fish out of water. Every smile seemed calculated. Every gesture felt rehearsed. Every attempt at connection came across as forced. She sat there trying so hard to appear relaxed and natural. But the effort was visible in every frame. It was like watching someone perform the role of a confident, successful woman, rather than actually being one.
Brace yourself, because Meghan, as always, was poised and prepared, expecting the usual questions she could answer with practiced charm.
And when you're sitting next to Emma Grede, who embodies authentic confidence effortlessly, that performance becomes glaringly obvious. Look, Meghan operates best in controlled environments. When she's giving a speech, she's practiced 20 times. When she's doing an interview with pre-approved questions, when she's surrounded by people who've been briefed on how to treat her, she can pull off the illusion, but throw her into an organic social situation with powerful women who don't need anything from her, and she falls apart.
Let's talk about how the dinner table is the new throne. So once upon a time,
Emma's dinner was exactly that kind of situation. No script, no handlers, no carefully managed interactions, just real conversation with real people. And Meghan couldn't keep up. The contrast was almost painful to watch. Emma leaned back in her chair, laughed loudly, told stories with her whole body, owned every second of the evening. She was the host, yes, but more than that, she was the star. People listened when she spoke. They laughed at her jokes. They leaned in when she got animated.
The best pathway to your success is starting with yourself. The 10 ways that I do that, the 10
Meanwhile, Meghan sat there looking stiff and tense, trying to find her moment to shine and never quite getting there. Every time she seemed like she might contribute something meaningful, either Emma would take over or Nicole would command attention, and Meghan would fade back into the background. This is Meghan's worst nightmare. She spent years trying to position herself as a powerful, influential woman in Hollywood. But nights like this reveal the reality. She doesn't have the natural charisma to compete with women like Emma.
Breaking today, Meghan Markle has put shocking new claims about her marriage to Prince Harry to one side.
She doesn't have the genuine warmth that makes people want to be around her. What she has is a title, a famous husband, and a carefully constructed brand that only works when she controls every variable. Take away that control, and you're left with what we saw at Emma's dinner. A woman desperately trying to appear relevant, while more authentic personalities eclipse her completely. It wasn't just tense. It was a full-blown reveal of everything Meghan pretends to be but isn't. Nicole Avant's presence at this dinner wasn't just about friendship or casual networking.
If you could rewrite your public narrative from scratch, is there anything that you would do differently? Is there any part of you that feels...
This was strategic and potentially significant for Meghan's future in Hollywood. Nicole's husband, Ted Sarandos, is the co-chief executive officer of Netflix, the streaming giant that's been bankrolling Meghan and Harry's content ventures. And let's be honest, those ventures haven't exactly been setting the world on fire. Netflix signed Meghan and Harry to a reported multi-million-dollar deal, expecting blockbuster content, compelling storytelling, and projects that would justify the massive investment.
Right, this is happening right now. This is Paris Fashion Week. Meghan Markle is in attendance at the...
What have they gotten instead? A documentary series that generated headlines, but not necessarily the kind of sustained viewership Netflix wants. Podcasts that fizzled, projects that got announced and then quietly shelved. There's been a lot of noise, but not a lot of results. And in Hollywood, results are everything. Titles and royal connections only get you so far. Eventually, you have to deliver content that people actually want to watch. Nicole was at this dinner doing what powerful Hollywood spouses do best.
Meghan Markle just experienced one of the most humiliating nights of her post-royal life, and it all went down at what was supposed to be a cozy women...
Observing, evaluating, watching how people perform in real social situations, seeing who has genuine star quality and who's just coasting on name recognition. And what did she see? She saw Emma Grede commanding a room effortlessly, being funny and engaging and authentic. She saw a woman who knows how to build brands, create content, and connect with audiences. Then she saw Meghan Markle struggling to keep up, looking tense, failing to assert herself in even basic social interactions.
I love learning something new all the time. I don't feel imposter syndrome. I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now.
Oh, I'm really happy you said that. I mean, I do.
Think about what that means from Netflix's perspective. They need personalities who can carry shows, who can hold an audience's attention, who can create compelling content without a safety net. Emma Grede fits that description perfectly. She's already proven she can build successful businesses. She's camera ready. She's got the Kardashian connection, which means built-in audience and proven track record. Meghan, meanwhile, has been struggling to prove she can deliver anything beyond controversy and headlines. Netflix has been reassessing their relationship with Meghan and Harry for months now.
Meghan Markle, to me, has lost all sense of reality about life. She needs...
The initial excitement has worn off, and executives are looking at the numbers, the reception, the return on investment. And those numbers allegedly aren't pretty. So when Nicole Avant sits at a dinner table and watches Emma Grede completely outshine Meghan Markle, what do you think she's thinking? She's thinking about who Netflix should actually be investing in. She's thinking about authentic star power versus manufactured celebrity. She's thinking about the future, and Meghan might not be in it. The timing of this dinner is especially interesting.
You have to be authentic.
Just be authentic. Did you see my baby mama dance?
I mean, stop it. First of all, can I just tell you?
Meghan just finished this whirlwind tour, desperately trying to stay relevant, making appearances, being photographed, reminding people she exists. And then she shows up at Emma's house where the wife of the Netflix executive who controls her paycheck watches her get socially outclassed. That's not just bad luck. That's a career moment playing out in real time over appetizers and wine. Here's a detail that might seem small at first, but when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, it becomes incredibly telling. Meghan Markle wore Emma Grede's necklace to a recent public event.
Pick up the phone to her and say, hi, so thank you. Now listen, everybody should really...
Yes, you read that right. Meghan borrowed jewelry from Emma to wear to Project Healthy Minds, or another one of her carefully orchestrated appearances. At the time, it probably seemed like a friendly gesture, maybe even a strategic one. Two powerful women supporting each other, sharing resources, showing unity. But now, after watching what went down at Emma's dinner, that borrowed necklace takes on a completely different meaning. When you're borrowing someone's jewelry, sitting in their home, watching them dominate every conversation while you struggle to keep up.
And I ultimately believe the more that you can change your thoughts, you're going to change the things around you.
So you're a big believer in mindset?
Who's really in control of that relationship? It's not the person doing the borrowing. Emma didn't need to borrow anything from Meghan. Emma has her own jewelry, her own style, her own brand. But Meghan needed something from Emma. She needed the association, the connection, the implied endorsement. And Emma gave it to her, but not without making sure everyone knew who held the power. Think about the optics. Meghan shows up to Emma's dinner wearing clothes and accessories that position her as an equal, as someone who belongs in these circles. But the reality playing out at that table told a different story.
Tell you, it is the most incredible group of women. There are women here that are building incredible...
She was submissive. She was tense. She was outclassed. And now we know she's literally wearing Emma's jewelry to public events, which makes the dynamic even clearer. This isn't a friendship between equals. This is a relationship where one person holds all the cards and the other is desperately trying to stay in the game. These kinds of power dynamics are everything in Hollywood. It's not about who has the biggest title or the most famous name. It's about who has real influence, real connections, real ability to make things happen.
That I can bounce back pretty easily. Because you can have the best laid plans for your brand.
Emma Grede can pick up the phone and get Kris Jenner on the line. She can launch brands, create opportunities, open doors. What can Meghan do? She can get photographed. She can give speeches. She can generate headlines. But can she actually deliver results? Can she build something sustainable? The track record suggests no. The borrowed necklace is symbolic of a much larger issue. Meghan is borrowing credibility from women like Emma, trying to absorb some of their success by proximity. She shows up at the right dinners, wears the right clothes, says the right things. But when it comes down to actual substance,
That's true. I appreciate that. Yes. I used to teach gift wrapping at paper stores. And
actual charisma, actual ability to command a room, she comes up short. And Emma knows it. Nicole knows it. Everyone at that dinner table knew it. Meghan's circle of powerful friends is shrinking, not growing. Women like Emma might still invite her to events, might still lend her a necklace for a photo op, but they're not treating her like a peer. They're treating her like someone who needs help, someone who's clinging to relevance, someone who's more useful as an accessory than as a genuine partner.
Family feuds, Meghan just cracked open the bedroom door and invited the entire world to peek inside. Sources claim she...
And that borrowed necklace, it's the perfect metaphor for where Meghan stands right now. So, what does all of this mean for Meghan's future in Hollywood? This dinner wasn't just an awkward social moment. This was a reality check that authentic success matters more than borrowed celebrity. The footage from that night has been circulating and analyzed by everyone, and the consensus is clear. Meghan looked out of her depth, tense and desperate to fit in. Meanwhile, women like Emma Grede and Nicole Avant moved through the evening with effortless confidence because they've earned their positions.
Everyone went still. For a moment, nobody dared to respond, but Serena's face changed. Her smile faded and she...
They built their empires. They delivered results. They don't need to perform because their success speaks for itself. This might have been a test, a chance for Meghan to prove she belongs in these elite circles. And if it was, the results weren't in her favor. She couldn't command attention. She couldn't compete with Emma's natural charisma. She couldn't even maintain confidence when someone invaded her personal space. The bigger question is what happens next. Netflix is allegedly reassessing their deals. Hollywood is watching to see if Meghan can deliver substance.
Calls the greatest joys of her life? Absolutely not. Instead, she showed up at Emma Grede's exclusive private dinner, where she got completely...
Her circle of powerful allies seems to be shrinking. And dinners like this are becoming less about friendship and more about evaluation. Are you useful? Are you authentic? Can you deliver? Emma Grede represents what Hollywood actually wants. Self-made, charismatic, successful, someone who can build brands without drama. Meghan? She's becoming a cautionary tale about relying on celebrity instead of substance. That dinner might go down as the moment when Meghan's Hollywood ambitions started crumbling. She was in a room with the right people, with every opportunity to shine.
And had a hysterectomy. How can a woman with a hysterectomy be pregnant? That belly looks very...
And instead, she got outclassed and revealed. The borrowed necklace, the submissive body language, the desperate attempts to stay relevant. It all paints a picture of someone losing ground fast. So here's my question for you. Can Meghan actually recover from this, or is this the beginning of the end? Let me know what you think down in the comments because I'm genuinely curious where you all stand on this. If this whole breakdown had you hooked, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already and turn those notifications on because trust me, what's happening next in Hollywood is going to be even crazier. Catch you in the next one.